I mean, any neutral watching an FA Cup game or any cup game for that matter is going to be rooting for the underdog. You know, the FA Cup is all about David and Goliath, isn't it? At the end of the day, and we were Goliath, and for long periods of that, we were playing like we had a rock in our head. But it's, I mean, that guy, he's 37, their manager, I think, and he's still registered as a player as well, if need be. So it kind of tells you something about the resources of a club like Newport County. And they had to put some temporary stands up as well, just to get to, well, I think it was the final sort of figures were just under 10,000 people there.
They host rugby there, right?
Yeah, they played rugby the day before, in fact. So the pitch wasn't great after that. But listen, we got a draw. We live to fight another day, and you know that's the only thing we can get.
I'd like to look back in their history and see if they've ever had a day out at Wembley, even the old stadium. Does anybody know?
You know what? Their biggest thing, they had a European run years ago.
Yeah, they did.
In the 80s, was it, Vass? Or I can't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, it was a bizarre deal. Who was it? They had a young John Aldrich. And
did he play for them?
Yeah.
John Aldrich. Yeah, it might have done. Yeah.
So that's about it. I don't know whether they had. I think maybe they got to like third round of the FA Cup. I think. I don't think they've really done too much, but they had this European run. How they did it, I have no idea. It was the 80-81 European Cup Winners' Cup. How the hell they got in that, I have no idea, but they did.
Wow.
And it appears
they won old-fashioned Welsh Cup.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
There we go.
Interesting. Yeah, so it's going to be a great day out for their fans, and listen, kudos to them. It's something that you want every fan to have that opportunity to enjoy, and for a lower league team, it'll be greatness for them. So, Simon, I'm going to direct this one to you. The conversation at halftime. So, as somebody who played, and Vass maybe chime in too as someone who refereed, what is that conversation like at halftime? Not to bemoan how bad things were, but what is that conversation like?
Well, are you casting your mind back to my esteemed professional career and how many dressing downs would have happened at halftime?
Simon is a goalkeeper, let four in.
Yeah. So the teacups you've thrown, chairs.
Yes, exactly. So when I was a lad, you can only imagine, and we talk about this, Poch at halftime, and he doesn't look like the guy that could lose it, and I'm sure he's one of those stern talkers without getting enraged where the point comes across as equally as the renowned Ferguson hairdryer rants at halftime, and he had to have given them a bollocking. They knew that wasn't good enough, and he made the right change at halftime. And we've all been critical of how long he's taken to make his substitutions of late, and he made it at the right time. And it's not good for a player's confidence to yank them before halftime. It's probably still not good at halftime, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm sure Carl Walker-Peters knew that he did not have a good game, and his was an expendable position, knowing that he could shuffle as he did at the back. And so, I think they all recognized at the end of the day what a poor performance it was by the team, and they know they've got to get that right, and they were lucky to get out of there. So,
Sam, would it surprise you at all if he played the second leg, or is this something maybe that Pochettino can hope to use as when you think back to Ricky Villa, when he had a very poor first leg against City and then comes on to score the winner? Not that I would expect Kyle Walker-Peters to do that, but he should have a chance at redemption, yes?
Well, I think a lot of this really depends on when this fixture is going to end up. Did I hear February? Was it February 6th or 7th?
Right now it's scheduled for the week of January 5th, so I don't know what day, but it's going to fall in between Liverpool and Arsenal.
So... And that wouldn't cause any of those to be rescheduled, would it? It wouldn't.
I would be shocked.
Yeah, so
there's a full week in between matches, so they'll just slide it into the midweek.
I mean, a lot of that is going to be based on injuries, based on look, it's a must-win, right? Absolutely must-win now. I think he was probably put in because it was maybe thought of as going to be somewhat of a walk in the park. It's obviously not going to be. Probably not, but it's a fixture jam, and I would think that if he does get back in, it's just more of a function of just not having the kind of depth that we need given the importance of the games around that replay. And not to say that replay is not important, as I said. That might be reason enough for him not to play.
Yeah, from a business perspective now, the money that this will generate from an extra match being played at Wembley, they may, gate off the upper stand and just play the lower 50,000 like they did last time. But this is an opportunity from a business perspective, Sam, to gain more money. Or if you're Tottenham, do you maybe give a lion's share of that back to Newport for whatever meaning or sake that has?
Yeah, I don't know how all this works. There was, I think it was actually Paul O'Keefe got into there was a Twitter discussion about this, that he was saying that they weren't necessarily playing for the win. They were playing really sort of, not to lose because of, the payday that they get from Wembley. So how does that work, Vass? Is there sort of code as to what the host team does with a smaller team in terms of sharing of the gate receipts?
Yeah, with the FA Cup, it's a percentage of the gate receipts goes to the away team. Right. I don't know what that percentage is, but it's kind of generous. So they're going to get a payout, and it'll probably help them quite considerably. How that helps Spurs, I'm not too sure, because ultimately I don't think the game's going to be that well attended. They're probably going to be doing adults for a tenner and kids for a fiver again, just to get people through the door. So I don't think it's going to be that lucrative for Spurs, but it's a fixture that needs to be played and won. I'm sure Newport will have a nice cash injection to cover a lot of their costs, probably for the next season as well.
Interesting. It really does pose a lot of different dynamics as you get deeper into this tournament, and I really hope that look from Newport's perspective, they basically lease the ground from the rugby union in up in the Welsh region of the country, so they don't have their own ground to maintain. And I don't know what their lease is or how much they pay per year or month or however that works, but this will be a really nice influx of money for a club like that. Maybe they can help expand the stand or get better players in and hope to gain promotion over the course of the next couple of years, just for something that happens this year. So I really hope it benefits them.
I have breaking news. Do it, Sam. So, you know how on ESPN, and I think I've moaned about this before in the past, when you go click on teams and then it automatically brings you to the top teams. And for years, it was always the top four never included us. But if you click on teams on ESPN, it actually lists us. I think it does it alphabetically. Yeah, it does. It goes Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Man U, Tottenham. Then it goes Barcelona, Madrid, Atleti, Bayern, Borussia Dortmund, Juve, PSG, and then I guess the top two Mexican teams. Lads, we've arrived. I bitched for years that, even when we were top four, even the years when we were top four, they never listed as the quote unquote, larger club. So there's my breaking news for you. Wow.
And so I have breaking news going back to that subject. I knew I saw something on social media this morning about the prize money. So Newport will get 150 grand and 45% of the Wembley gate receipts. But as Vass said, 10 quid and a fiver for kids. Maybe we'll get 35 to 40, Vass. I know we didn't do well in earlier cup rounds in what was Wimbledon? It was less than 40, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, and I think it'll be something similar as well, especially given that it'll be in between the Liverpool and Arsenal games.
But they're going to bank. I mean, you got to think they're going to make £300,000 out of this, which would be a huge cash injection for them. And Sam, they were at Wembley in 2012 when they were runners-up in the FA Trophy.
Now, what's that? Is that the league?
Well, there's an FA Vase, there's an FA Trophy, and the big clubs don't compete in those.
Oh, cool.
Obviously, there was 19,844 people in attendance at Wembley to watch Newport lose 2-0 to York City.
How about that? So, well done.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, and there will be a handful of replays wrapped around ours. I think Swansea drew their match, and there were a few others I think that I saw, and of course other teams certainly moved on.
Can we laugh? Can we laugh at West Ham and Liverpool?
I was trying
we
not
can
to
now,
laugh at
right?
West Ham all day yesterday. It's going to bite me in the ass. It's going to bite me in the ass. And about 70 minutes into that match yesterday. I was really happy that I had not tweeted out a thing. But yeah, now we can. Go ahead, Simon. I'll let you laugh because your mate Steve, he's a West Ham fan.
Yeah, I was in the same boat as you because I got in late from a week of travel, so I had to watch about an hour after real time, and I knew my phone was blowing up. Oh, this can't be good. So I refused to look at it and watch the game, and I so wanted to say something to Steve. It was the first thing I saw as the plane landed, is that they'd lost, and the player sent off for spitting. I was like, good God. And I resisted, and I still haven't taken the piss. I think I will today because our game's distant memory almost. But then I watched the Liverpool game afterwards, and that was equally funny. They're defending. Again, it just goes to show, right? This is the team that made Manchester City a defeated team. And the following week, they come and lose away at a bottom three club, just like we drew at a bottom three club. So, but Liverpool were all over the place yesterday. And that VAR, what a farce.
Yeah, but the right calls were made, though, right? I mean, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate.
It's like they went to it
flow.
every time. Make that stop.
There's
something clearly questionable.
It's too much right now, and for as for it as I am, they've got to fix it. It cannot disrupt play. If it disrupts play, you may as well scrap the project. And it disrupted play way too much. They got the right calls.
But like the Salah play,
the thing is, in American sport, they would have cut to a break, wouldn't they?
Yeah. So it wouldn't have seemed so. Yeah, you're right.
Can you imagine if they did cut to a break and then you did the outcome? There'd be rioting in the streets.
I did have a question about the Salah thing. I mean, why can't that be left to the ref's discretion? Because the other thing is did that take away a goal-scoring opportunity? I mean, was that ball, and maybe it was that ball going to him? Could he have gotten that ball? And I don't know. It was the right decision. He was brought down. I mean, I don't dispute that, but it was questionable as to did that influence or take away the ability for a goal to be scored? I don't know, and shouldn't that be left up to the ref's discretion? I don't know. I thought it was the right call. What do you think?
Yeah, the thing with penalty shouts is they're all subjective, aren't they? I mean, if you look at it closely, Salah was probably on the way down anyway, but.
As well, he should have.
What can you do? It's just when you slow everything down and look at it in super slow mo and whatever, it always looks 10 times worse anyway. So I don't know. It's a tricky one with all this VAR. Well, but tweet of the day goes to me because before the Liverpool game, I was bemoaning the fact that the TV company over here had chosen a home banker at prime time on a Saturday night, and I wasn't going to watch it because I'll be falling asleep and. They're never going to capture the magic of the cup showing Liverpool v West Brom. And guess who was wrong?
Yeah. That was actually pretty sweet. And people are absolutely... You talk about Spurs fans going mental. I've watched some of the call-in radio show video clips that they have live from the studio. Absolute meltdown from the Scousers. Klopp's got to go. Cut him loose. He's not good enough. I mean, the whole bit. It's
well, look, I
quite
mean,
humorous.
Pochettino's been at Spurs roughly around the same amount of time, and everyone's clamouring that it's time Pochettino won a cup. And you do not hear the same narrative coming out of Liverpool. Klopp's been there 3 years now.
Yeah. So what was it? The 80... Shoot, man, I'm trying to remember the year. 87, 88, when Cardiff dumped Man City out, and they play again today. Should be interesting. That match is... Company's playing, and he hasn't played in donkey's years. It seems like, and they've rotated their squad quite a bit. Not to get talking about other teams and whatnot. Because I looked up this match, I was like, man, when was the last time? It was '94. That's when it was, and I think it was 1-0. Cardiff stunned them, and it was Nathan Blake, I believe, that sealed that win for them. It doesn't always have to be like a fourth division team, right?
In the world that Cardiff gets a result today. Not a chance in the world. No way. But you know what's interesting? Just real quick, go back to that Liverpool. Think about your thoughts about Liverpool, because it's interesting, right? There's a lot of pressure on Klopp. We've been had a good run of form, and then the last really 2 games have been poor, really pretty poor. And we've got injuries. We've got this Man United fixture Wednesday, And man, this Liverpool fixture's huge, huge. I mean, it could put somebody sort of in a spin cycle.